During the Roman period, Portuguese evolved from Latin and was developed in Lusitania, the west coast of the Iberian Peninsula, which today is the area of Portugal and Galicia. Along with other Romance languages, the Romans brought Vulgar Latin when they arrived in 218 BC. Eventually, Latin was adopted as the primary language. In the 5th century, Portuguese became more unique than other Romance languages after the fall of the Roman Empire and the barbarian invasion. From the Romans' arrival up to the 9th century, everyone spoke Latin or Romance, a mix between Vulgar Latin and other Romance languages, and Portuguese started being used in writing. From 409 AD to 711, Germanic invasions caused the language to adopt many new words like hubas, to steal, and guerras, to war. It has also caused the language to become fragmented. In 711, the Moors conquered the Iberian Peninsula, causing Arabic to become the official language. Despite that, mostly everyone still spoke Latin or Romance. A few Arabic words entered the language during this time, like alface, which means lettuce, and vifi, which means hostage. Galician Portuguese. In the 11th century, many Mozarabic dialects were created from the blend of Arabic and Latin due to the Moors pushing south. During this time, Galician Portuguese became the written and spoken language of Lusitania, so poems, documents, and literary texts were written in this language. Northern dialects mixed with the southern Mozarabic dialects, creating a language completely different from Galician Portuguese. When Portugal became independent in 1143, the first Old Portuguese period started. In 1290, the first Portuguese university in Lisbon was made by King Dinis, who also declared that Vulgar Latin should be called Portuguese and should be officially used. The first literary work in Portuguese appeared in the 14th century with Livro de Linhagens, Book of Lineages, by Dom Pedro, Count of Barcelona. In 1249, the Moors were banned from Portugal and the Castilians were defeated in 1385, causing Galician and Portuguese to separate. Archaic Portuguese. The second period of Old Portuguese began from the 14th to the 16th centuries. Throughout this time, Portuguese spread to the Americas and became a lingua franca in Asia and Africa as Portugal established overseas colonies. Its spread was also affected by the increased mixed marriages between the Portuguese and locals and the associations with Catholic missionaries. Due to regional influences, Chinese and Malayan words like jangada, meaning raft, and cha, meaning tea, were adopted. During the Renaissance period, Italian and Greek language became included in Portuguese, making it more complex. Modern Portuguese. The second Old Portuguese period ended in 1516. With that, Portuguese became modernized in the 16th century when Portuguese morphology and syntax were defined in grammar books. There was also an increase in new words from classical Latin and Greek from the Renaissance time. When the Spanish dominated Portugal from 1580 to 1640, Portuguese adopted Spanish words such as bobo, meaning fool, and granizo, meaning hail. During the 18th century, French influence changed Portuguese spoken in Portugal, causing it to be different from Portuguese spoken in the other colonies. In the 19th and 20th centuries, new Greco-Latin words were adopted from technological advances like automobile, meaning automobile, and televisão, meaning television. In 1990, since so many new words were being adopted, a commission of representatives from all Portuguese-speaking countries in the world was created with its goal of creating a uniform technical vocabulary and deleting the confusion of different words to say the same thing. Even with these efforts, different words are said to describe the same thing today. Present Portuguese fun facts. Portuguese is the 6th most spoken language in the world, with 220 million native speakers and 230 million total speakers. Portuguese is the official language of Portugal, Brazil, Mozambique, Angola, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, and São Tomé and Príncipe. Portuguese is a co-official language in Macau, China, Equatorial Guinea, and East Timor. Portuguese alphabet has 23 letters, and Portuguese is closely related to Spanish.
Hola,
Olá,
¿cómo estás?
como você está?
Estoy haciendo bien.
He visto fazendo bem.